What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
It's not fall yet.
The first day of fall is September 22nd.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
Mozzarella sticks are just okay. It's bland cheese and breadcrumbs. I don't want to split them. There are other things there that we could get.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
Sakura fell victim to one of the worst cases of misogyny I've ever seen.
Sakura should have been one of the best characters in Naruto. She was set up to be one of the smartest people in Konoha behind the Nara clan boys, and one of the strongest kunoichi in the entire series behind Tsunade in terms of raw power. Sakura should be able to do everything, especially with the amount of chakra control that she has. But she's able to do literally nothing the entire time. She couldn't help in the fight against Zabuza. Granny had to take over in the fight against Sasori. We all know the Naruto summoning jutsu. And in the fight with Naruto, Sai, and her against the Cloud Ninja, one of the best choreographed fights of the entire series, she gets pushed out of the way in the beginning and kicked out of frame in the end. The fight only ends because of her. And there's so much more.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
If we're going to have a minimum age required for voting or for holding governmental positions of power because of proper neural development, then there should be a maximum age as well. Hear me out. Remember this one? And I quote, "They're making the highest laws of the land and they might not even remember what happened yesterday." I don't understand how we've casually accepted that someone on their deathbed can wake up thinking it's the 1940s and then make and enforce laws. It is the job of Congress and the Supreme Court to reflect the ever-changing ideas of the general society. And that is not possible when someone wakes up thinking it's the fucking Jim Crow era. Therefore, I think it's only reasonable to suggest that we cap a maximum age for voting and for serving.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
Most people want you to be okay with their bare minimum and their crumbs because that's all that they're willing to give. And when you have an issue with that, they push back because they don't want to give you anymore. They want you to respect them and go above and beyond for them, but they're not trying to do the same for you.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
In the 1960s, during the height of the space race, NASA realized that pens couldn't work in space. But they needed a way for astronauts to write things down. This was a huge issue. So NASA got to work, spent years and millions of taxpayer dollars trying to invent a pen that could work. And finally, they invented a pen that could work on any surface, underwater, with zero gravity, anything. It was amazing. Meanwhile, the Soviets simply used a pencil. Now, I believe this story is a tall tale, but it's still a good metaphor. Sometime in the past couple of years, being an activist has become like trendy. It's like an aesthetic. And I don't think people realize how damaging this is to real activists, to real problem solvers. Canceling an influencer in their Instagram comments for not recycling a water bottle is fixing the pen. Realizing that recycling actually isn't that efficient and using or creating a new packaging solution that is, it's using a pencil. The humiliating or canceling someone or something is using a pen. It's more about your own ego than it is about solving the problem. So I encourage our generation to step back. Think about the real problems. The issue isn't fixing the pen. It's finding a way to write.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
Anime fans, if your fave is toxic, like objectively a bad person, and you excuse their sexual assault, misogyny, pedophilia, abuse with, "Oh, it's Japan though, they have different morals," you're just racist.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
I'm about to lose a big chunk of my followers, but I have to say it. Ghosts can't harm the living. If they could, there would probably be only a handful of Caucasians left in this world.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
The biphobia present in Black cishet women is directly linked to misogynoir, in that Black women have been continuously stripped of their femininity. So while they may understand the concept of a bisexual man, that trauma has manifested as a repulsion to any space in which they perceive, keyword, perceive themselves to be in competition with or compared to men. The insecurity of being with a bisexual man is just the insecurity of not knowing what that man values in you as a woman and wanting to be validated and valued for your femininity alone. That need for validation branches out into how others perceive you in relation to your partner. So these people tend to seek out what they view as hyper masculine men. All right. And what misogyny tells us about masculinity is that masculinity is the absence of femininity, which is not true. Misogyny, on the other side, defines femininity as anything relating to womanhood, but they define womanhood by our ability to attract, please, and produce for men. So a man that also attracts and pleases men will never be masculine enough for them to feel validated in their femininity by that man. It's still not an excuse to be a bigot. Go love yourself.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
If you eat every day, you need to poop every day. Pooping is important. It's literally the way that your body excretes waste. You gotta do it every day. You have to. And if you're not, you're literally full of it.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
Rapid Fire Fitness Edition. Booty bands are mostly pointless and they aren't doing anything to benefit your glute gains. Fasted cardio doesn't help you burn more fat than regular cardio. You should only use BFR bands if you're recovering from an injury. The majority of the fitness supplements on the market are shitty and you don't actually need them. The majority of fitness influencers have some sort of cosmetic surgery or BBL or Sculptra to make themselves look better, and they're lying to you. Or they're using video editing software to Photoshop their bodies in videos and just using general Photoshop on their photos. A calorie deficit is really important for weight loss. However, there are other things that affect weight loss that have nothing to do with calories. Intermittent fasting is just a glorified calorie deficit. Sumo stance, wide stance, anything is working more of your adductor muscles, and your piriformis way more than your glutes. A lot of the workouts posted by influencers on this app are way too high volume to really effectively grow muscle.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
That the final episode of the first season of The Good Place is a perfect metaphor of US Americans joining TikTok and seeing how normal people in normal countries live normal lives with universal healthcare, paid maternity and paternity leave, affordable education that is often wiped after a certain amount of years, cops whose training is measured in years instead of weeks, the fact that those bang bang things just aren't really a thing in a lot of places, and ultimately it just seems like the US is just a 330 person human trial of Stockholm syndrome to see how far an abusive government can push its victims.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
Astrology is a pseudoscience. Yes, even Indian astrology, according to Indian sources. Sources in bio.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
The best benders in the Avatar universe are all the women. Airbenders, you have Janora. Firebenders, you have Azula. Earthbenders, you have Toph. Waterbenders, you have Katara. And in terms of the Avatar, Korra.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
When men say they don't support feminism because they think it's fighting for women to be superior to men or have more power than men, they're admitting that they're scared of being treated the same way men treat women.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
Being in a relationship seems very overrated. I've been single my whole life, and I've noticed that way too many of my friends and way too many people that I know only feel validated or see their worth when they're in relationships. They go from relationship to relationship with only a few weeks or months in between, or they always have to be talking to somebody because they don't know who they are outside of being in a relationship. They will settle for mediocre relationships because the thought of being alone is way more terrifying to them, and they're the same people who always complain about their partner and say that they're toxic or they aren't treating them well. When I tell these people that I've never been in a relationship before, they are immediately like, oh my god, but you're so pretty. Don't worry, your day will come. Love will find you. You will find your perfect missing puzzle piece. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't ask for all that. I'm not insecure about being alone, because unlike you, my worth and identity and how attractive I am and how worthy I am of love doesn't come from being in a relationship. I'm single on purpose.